You know who made it. You know who made it. You know who made it. You know who made it.
What is going on, Gamble Factory? It's your boy ZROB. We got Coach T Posey going a little bit early for the Sunday Night Football stream. We're busy later, so we're going to get it out now to you guys. That way you can go ahead and get your slip cooked for tonight. We got a good game. I believe it's an over 50-point total. Let me look again real quick. 52.5 is what it's at now. So competitive game, high scoring, everything we want in a matchup. Two good teams. So we should have a good opportunity to stack this game up, get with some offense, and there's some good offensive players to take advantage of. So, Tyler, how you feeling?
Feel pretty good about this one being a high-scoring game. Good environment for seemingly both types of offenses. I just hope Philly doesn't run a 19-play, 15-hour possession as they've done in several games, limiting Miami. But I mean, certainly could do that. But hopefully it's high-scoring, competitive. We get good quick drives and move on, catch up props. Unfortunately, the Buccaneers did not allow that for Desmond Ritter. But life is that.
No, but I mean these game stacks. I mean they're sometimes easier to hit than like just full slates when you can predict the game script. I mean if you predict the game script, then like I mean sometimes it's just easy. I mean we like Thursday we predicted the game script absolutely perfect and we went 5-1. Should have been a 6-0 sweep for 25x, but we got super unlucky with the variance at the end.
Yeah, I mean, it's just all about game script for any game. I mean, essentially, like, even today for the Falcons, like, that game script was just not good for Bitter. So they didn't have to throw a ton. So that's probably why that one's going to chalk.
Yeah, so let's get on with it. I'm looking forward to this game. Tyler, you want to kick us off with the prop?
Sure. I'm going to go ahead and grab Tua. I just really like what the Dolphins do on offense in terms of, like, just letting it air out. I'm going to take his passing yards at 273. It's the guy who's hit this in pretty much every game he's played this year. Let me pull back up my stats here. But he's hit it in 3 out of the last 5. Barely just missed against Carolina. Carolina's not very good, so it's whatever. But seeing as this total is the way it is, I don't see how they get to that point if it's not for Tua really being able to throw it. I don't know if the offense is good enough to run on that Eagles run defense because it's pretty good. But their pass defense is not so much. They've given up over 1,500 yards of passing in just 6 games. So They've given up to two opposing quarterbacks quite a bit. Tua's got weapons pretty much everywhere you go. So I just think this line is one I'll take pretty much every time against the Eagles if I can. And again, close game. I think that Tua slings it around just like he kind of always does.
Yeah, 100% agree. Probably my favorite prop, or at least one of my favorite props of the night. So I think that one is a lock. I'll go ahead and stay on the Dolphin side of the ball. If we think Tua's going to pass the ball a lot, we got to take his main man, Tyreek Hill. And it's been really tough for me to decide on a prop for him. I'm deciding between these three: his receiving yards, fantasy score, and touchdown prop. And a lot of times when I can't decide, I usually go with fantasy score. I mean, I really think he scores a touchdown, but if he scores a touchdown, he probably hits his fantasy score and gets those yards. So if we think if Tua is going to have to pass the ball a lot, he's going to have to hit Tyreek a bunch. I mean, he's averaging 10 targets a week, and a lot of these games they've played in has kind of been lopsided. So he hasn't even had to play like his full allotment of snaps. This is a guy that they look to get the ball to almost every single play. We get a competitive, very high-scoring game against the Eagles secondary, who it's kind of their weak spot. I mean, they're one of the top tier, if the top run defense in the league. So the Dolphins probably struggle on the ground. They're going to have to pass the ball a lot, and that ball's going to go to Tyreek, probably at least 10 targets. So I'm going to lean his fantasy score. It's hard for me as close with like receiving yards and touchdown. I wouldn't be surprised if he catches all three though. So
Yep, it's a good prop for Tyreek. I'm going to stay with the Dolphins and go to Jalen Waddle, another guy who's heavily involved in this Miami offense. It seems like the offense is just kind of ran through these two, and obviously the running backs have gotten involved as of the last couple of weeks with Mostert and A-Chain before he went down. But I do like Waddle tonight. I'm going to take his targets, actually. You know, I typically try to stay with receptions and targets are my favorite things. I love his yards, too, so I know you had that one as well, and which is completely fine with me. I like that one as well. But I'm going to stick with his targets. He's a little bit more involved the last couple of weeks, seemingly getting a lot more healthy, moving around. So he's had double-digit targets in both these weeks. And the Eagles kind of run a lot of zone defense, like 75% of the time. And he's typically running, like, getting way more targets and more receptions coming out of teams against the zone. So I think Waddle's in a good spot tonight to clear the 7-target mark like he has the last couple of weeks. I really like his receptions at 4.5 because it's favored heavily over, meaning, they think he's going to get 5 receptions. So just 2 additional targets to get the push here in a defense that gives up a lot of yards, gives up a lot of catches to opposing wide receivers, and especially those who like to run out of slot and run zone really well. So Waddle over 7 targets.
No, I love it. And you can obviously tell by the way this slip has started that Tyler and I are playing this game script for offense like we always do. We try and keep it consistent, and it's one of the easiest stacks in the league is pairing Tua with the Tyreek and Jalen Waddle prop. I mean, it's so condensed on those two with targets that it just makes it really easy for your Dolphins side of the stack. So we're probably gonna go over to the Eagles side of the ball now. It's not my favorite prop, but I know what the next 2 props are gonna be, so I'm gonna go ahead and say Jalen Hurts, and I'm leaning his pass yards, and I'm mainly taking that just to be a good correlated play with our next 2 props. I do like Jalen Hurts tonight. I think he has a great game. His just props are really high. Like his fantasy score is 24.5. That's pretty high. I was hoping to catch it a little bit lower. His pass attempts look solid. I think he has to pass the ball a lot tonight. But I think his pass yards is probably the safest play in my opinion, especially because the next 2 props are going to be his wide receiver and tight end. So at 262, he has been slinging the ball, and that's a big part in his A.J. Brown, which we'll talk about here in a second. But 262 pass yards, he's hit this in his last 4 weeks. I don't really see why that changes tonight unless the Eagles are able to get the ball or get up and be able to just run out the clock like they have shown that they will do in the second half. Ideally, the Dolphins get the lead. That would be perfect for us, or just have a little bit of a lead. That way the Dolphins still pass the ball some. But the Eagles aren't quite able to just do their run out the clock thing that they like to do. So I like Jalen Hurts for 262 pass yards. I think it's a great correlated play with our next two props we're about to talk about. So
Yeah, another one for me is going to go. I'm going to go to Dallas Goddard. Miami's had kind of a hard time defending opposing tight ends. Kind of given up quite a bit to them. I think they have given up like six most targets to them, seventh most receptions. So they do tend to find a lot of openings. I know Hunter Henry had 7 targets. Darren Waller had 11 targets. So I'm going to go Dallas Goddard's. I'm going to do his targets. It's set at 6 right now, which I feel like that is extremely low for the matchup and for what his production has been all year. I know week 1 he started out pretty brutal against the Patriots, didn't do anything, but since then he's covered this in 4 out of his last 5 games. The other one being against the Commanders, where he only ended up with just 4 targets. But the Commanders have been really good against opposing tight ends this year. They haven't allowed a ton, so they're another one of those tough matchups for tight ends. So or tough reception matchup for tight ends, I should say. But the Dolphins are not that. They have given up a ton of targets to the tight end. Actually, like I said, number 6 for that. And he's covered that, like I said, in 4 or 5 weeks. Very involved, great matchup, good high-paced environment. And, if it doesn't go high-paced, then it'll slip the chalk anyway. So it just is what it is.
I'm kind of disappointed you didn't say the most important part of this prop, and that is it is National Tight End Day. So.
Oh God, yeah.
So
I know Chad doesn't like that.
It's National Tight End Day, man. We gotta have a tight end in the slip. They haven't chalked us a bunch of times in the past, so no.
They chalk me. They might chalk you, but not me. I've been
hitting
me,
but no, it's a yes, Dallas. No, no. I think it's a great prop. I mean, 6 targets, that should be fairly easy for him. So as long as, like you said, if we get that passing script tonight, which is what we're targeting, those 6 targets should be fairly easy for Dallas. And that leads us to our last prop, another correlated play with Jalen Hurts. And that's his top man, A.J. Brown. And I'm thinking that we're going to go with his 83.5 receiving yards. As you can see here, these are his last 4 games. Absolutely crushing it. I mean, he hasn't had lower than 127 pass yards in his last 4 games, and that's absolutely ridiculous. If we think Jalen Hurts is going to pass the ball for 262 yards, then A.J. Brown's going to be hitting this line. I like him for over 100 tonight, honestly. I mean, we get a good, competitive, high-scoring matchup. And in order to probably keep pace with the Dolphins, assuming the Dolphins are able to score, which we think they will, A.J. Brown's going to hit this receiving yards. So I see no issue. It's pretty simple. It's his top guy. He gets a ton of targets, and he's going to continue that tonight. The Dolphins aren't going to be able to slow him down too much, and 83.5 is just way too low in a matchup for tonight. So
yeah, I mean they're giving up like 170 plus yards to wide receivers throughout the year. So I mean they're it's there, and it's AJ Brown. There's not much more to say.
Yep, and that's it. Let me zoom out so we can get the slip locked in. That's what we're going with. I mean, it's simple tonight, at least as far as the game theory goes. It's not real hard to make a slip. 52.5 is a lot of points. I mean, I think that's the highest on the entire slate today by far, if I'm not mistaken. So that's what we're going with.
I don't know if the Chiefs and Chargers closed out, but yeah, I would think that one would be the closest one.
Yeah, I think that is the closest, and it was 48.5, so still 4 points off, which is a big difference.
Yeah, it is.
But this is what we're going to go with. We're hoping that both teams have to light up the scoreboard. It's a good Sunday night football primetime game, and we get these sometimes. We get these high-scoring primetime matchups, and tonight very well could be one. But we're going to go with Tua over 279.5 pass yards, Tyreek Hill over 20 fantasy score, Jalen Waddle over 7 receiving targets, Jalen Hurts over 262.5 pass yards, Dallas Goedert over 6 receiving targets, and A.J. Brown over 83.5 receiving yards. Got a question. You don't like receiving yards instead of targets for Dallas?
I don't personally. I like his targets. I think they'll have to throw it. I know they correlate a little bit better with Hurts, but I still think I prefer his targets a little bit more.
Do you like Hurts rushing touchdown at 0.5? It looks very enticing, just because, I mean, he's been hitting that thing. And if they get down to like the 1 or 2 yard line, you already know Jalen Hurts is getting a rushing touchdown. So I mean, I don't think it's a bad look. It's probably not like great to take on Prizepicks. So I don't know. I haven't looked at the odds on it.
Yeah, I would think the odds are probably like he's only probably like minus 110 or even money or close to that. That's probably about all you're getting.
Yeah. But I mean, if you're taking, I would honestly, if you think he scores a rushing touchdown, I'd probably take his fantasy score at 24.5.
Yeah, if he scores a rushing touchdown, it's almost very likely he hits that.
Yeah. So and if he doesn't score the rushing touchdown, you still have a chance of hitting that 24.5 fantasy score.
Yeah. Hey, also, Ritter's not dead, by the way.
Really?
The Buccaneers are 3rd and goal on the Atlanta 8. Now 4th and goal. They're about to kick a field goal and tie it up. 49 seconds left.
Ooh, so if he can get like 4 or 5 pass attempts here, and then they go into overtime.
Yeah, there's still a chance. Like this is not a dead prop as I thought it would be whenever Baker threw that interception earlier. Got a chance, and then that would be nice if one of those were to Drake London and hit that target, and then he can go on and get his, and we've got 2 for 2 start and 4 waiting on 3 p.m. games. So there's a chance.
Yeah, man. The only thing I'm disappointed about, well, most of my stuff is like afternoon. All my game stacks are like the afternoon games because they just happen to be the better games today. Other than the freaking Lions and Ravens game. And if that game stays even remotely close to, that's so money. And I know you were talking about how you had a similar stack. So
very similar stack in that game. And I mean, goodness, I don't know how much closer I could have gotten to get this right. Same as you. I mean, it's unbelievable.
Mm-hmm. We've been close, man. It's been right there. I know everybody's starting to get impatient, but it's coming, guys. I mean, we can only do so much, and hey, we're playing these slips too. We feel the pain and the loss just as much as you guys. Trust me, if not more, because everybody is also sad at us for not hitting. So, this is what we're gonna go with. We're gonna lock it in, guys. It should be an incredible Sunday night primetime game. I have said that several times this season and have been completely wrong. But I mean, both these offenses are great. We got a high projected game total. Yeah, we talked about Jalen Hurts pass attempts just real quickly. We like it. It's also a good prop to take too. So, but we're gonna get out of here. Tyler, you have anything else to say?
No, I'm good.
All right. Well, let's catch this slip, guys, and then we'll be back to talk Monday Night Football sometime tomorrow. So, stay tuned. Make sure you liked and subscribe so you get updated or get a notification whenever we go live.